Hey everybody, I'm here today to tell you what to look for when buying a used car. I will be outlining a few specific things that you should be looking for when you are considering the purchase of a used vehicle. Let's get right to it. The first thing that I want to talk about is whether or not the body panels line up. Now, body panels that don't line up are one of the key things that will tell you that a car has been in an accident or that some of the body panels have been replaced. And even if a car has been in an accident and the body panels have been replaced, they might just line up perfectly. So that is just the first indicator. That is not the one thing that will tell you that a car is accident free or has been in an accident. It's just an indicator, okay, that that it has been in an accident and something has been replaced. So the first thing that you should look for you should look for are the body panels. Make sure that they line up, and if they don't line up, be sure to ask the right questions. The next thing that I want to talk about is rust. Rust spreads like crazy. So if there's a little bit of rust on the vehicle, that's fine, but you have to have an understanding that there's likely some more rust beneath what you see, and it will likely spread rather quickly. Okay, so if there is rust on the vehicle, then you can still purchase it, but just know that it will spread really quickly, and there's probably much more than what you see. If there's a rusty spot that's this big, when they fix it, they have to fix this much of the body. They don't just cut right to the edge of the rust. They usually cut a little bit further because the rust has already started to spread on the body around that rusted spot. The next thing that I want to talk about are puddles and smells. If you see a puddle under the car, or if you smell something weird around the car, then that usually means that something is leaking. And if something is leaking, you should know what that thing is, because certain things that are leaking, you can still drive with them leaking, or they won't cost you a lot to repair, and other things that are leaking can be dangerous and will cost you a substantial amount of money to fix. So it's a really good idea to look for any puddles underneath the car, and also just smell around the car when it is running and also when it is not running. The next thing that I want to talk about is exhaust smoke. So if you start the car and you see that a weird color is coming from the exhaust pipe with regards to the actual smoke that's coming up from the exhaust pipe, then that usually means that something is up with the car. If you see black smoke or white smoke, that's usually not a good sign, and it usually will lead you to understand that something is likely wrong with the car. Okay, so basically, if there is smoke, then look at the color of the smoke and do your own research, because with certain colors of exhaust smoke, there are certain cases where something is likely the problem, likely the cause of that exhaust smoke, depending on the color that's coming out of the exhaust, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about is a test drive. Make sure that you take the car for a test drive. What you should look out for is if the owner of the car says that you can't take it for a test drive, don't buy it, just walk away. If the owner does not allow you to take it out for a test drive, just walk away. If the car has to be boosted, then you know what, just understand that there's probably an underlying problem and that you're gonna have to fix it eventually, okay? The next thing that I want to talk about, recalls and problems that are specific to that make and model, okay? Take a look for any recalls online for that specific make and model, and make sure that those recalls have been taken care of, and also look for any specific issues that are very common with that specific make and model of the car. And once again, ask the owner or do your own check to make sure that those problems either aren't there on the car, or if they are there, that the problems and issues are manageable. The next thing, and this is very important, and it's actually very simple, but it is widely overlooked. Take out the dipstick from the engine and take a look at the color of the oil. If you see that the oil is sort of a milky, creamy color, then that's a bad sign, okay? That's definitely a bad sign, because it means that there is a significant leak. It means that the coolant is getting into where the oil is kept, and that's not a good sign at all. But just take a look at the color of the oil and take a look to see if there is any discoloration with regards to it looking milky or creamy. Now, the owner could have also just changed the oil 5 minutes before you looked at the car. So once again, if you don't see a milky color, it doesn't mean that that problem is not there on the car. It just means that it is likely not there on the car. The last thing that I want to talk about, and this is super important because it usually tells you a lot about the condition of the car, sounds that the car makes while you're driving. When you're driving the car, you should listen for any sounds that sound irregular. Now, it doesn't always mean that something significant is bad, because it could be something as simple as the heat shield on the exhaust, a bolt being loose or something like that, something simple. But if you hear a popping sound or a cracking sound or a loud rattle, that's not a good sign. Those are usually not good signs, and it's a good idea to understand what the problem is that's causing that sound before you actually purchase the used vehicle. But that's basically it. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about what to look for when buying a used car. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.